Hello and welcome to my review of the Legion Contemptor Dreadnought for Legiones Astartes for Warhammer the Horus Heresy from Games Workshop. Now, the reason why I'm doing a review of this particular Contemptor on its own is because there are going to be some slight differences to the full kit that's coming out. I wanted to review this particular unit in isolation. I didn't want to just wait for the full kit to come out and then do an unboxing and review of that. I wanted to just review this particular one, and that's really to give you an idea whether, if you haven't already picked up the absolutely awesome best box set so far, Age of Darkness box set, and you were after some more information about this particular dreadnought in the set, then I wanted to supply that information, through this video. So the format of this review, as always, is I'll look at the miniature, I'll talk about how easy it was to build, any issues, things like that, and then I'll go through some spare parts, of which you do get a decent number, and then I'll go through the size comparisons, particularly of all of the dreadnoughts that are available, with the exception of Dreadio, but the Dreadio is similar size to the Leviathan anyway. And finally, I will go through all of its rules, and I will tell you basically why it is a must. It's an auto-include in any Space Marine Legion force, really. You'll see a lot of these in the battlefield. They're very, very strong. So first things first, let's have a look at the miniature itself. Yeah, the pose, I guess I could have got the hips a little bit more level. I mean, I obviously put it together that way. I didn't really have any issues other than there are a lot of parts, and you'll probably see there's some joins, which, I tried to clear up with the Tamiya, to sort of join them, but you may well have some issues here and there with joins, mold lines, and the rest of it. I will say the Leviathan was a better kit. I can't see there's going to be that many improvements from this kit to the full kit for the Contemptor, other than you're going to get all of the weapon options and a different chest plate, and I think different head options as well, and a chain fist, and so on. So you get a few different things. Type in Contemptor Dreadnought on the Warhammer community website. You're going to get the dual Volkite culverins, I think they are, and you're going to get the plasma, and I think you're also going to get the Kiri's assault cannons and the conversion beamer as well. So you're going to get a nice selection of weaponry there. Definitely worth picking up multiple of those, even if you're only going to be running sort of one per legion, if you're going to try and collect a lot of legions like myself. So yeah, it's a lot of parts. It's not as easy or as satisfying to build and to pose compared to the resin one. I much prefer, give me a resin one any day, because it's, well, quicker to build, and it's just more satisfying. Just going back to the memory, I had way more fun building this relic one. I know this is a bit of a size comparison already in a way. I had more fun building this one than than the plastic one. And also, you can pick up Legion specific ones. I've got the Dark Angels one, dread winging its way to me as we speak, so I'll be able to show you some comparisons with that once I receive it. So that's the model itself. You get the option of having these claws. I have put claws on mine. I'm not sure why. I don't really know why I did, because a lot of legions have their own specific ones. I might have this one for Word Bearers or Raven Guard. I might just keep it for Dark Angels, we'll see. But the weapon loadout I've gone for is probably one of the weakest ones, the autocannons. It's a decent range, but the AP4, it's not the best at sort of cutting down normal Space Marines. If you pick up 2 sets of these, it's probably best going for like dual las cannons, like going for a mortis pattern or dual melters, because then you're using it to its most effectiveness. You just got to be careful of getting it bogged down. Anyway, I went off on a bit of a sort of rules tangent there, but let's have a look at these spare parts. They are right here, I believe. So we'll just have a little look at these. There is a sort of a way to you know, have all the weapons if you want, and that is kind of like to magnetize the inside or whatnot and have it so you can just put one up there so that you can just attach it there. However, you only get one of these little shoulder joint, elbow joint things, so it might be worth magnetizing that top bit there where the shoulder joint joins, and then when you get another Contemptor, you can just pull these weapons out and change them, much like I did with the Leviathan. It's a similar sort of contact point there. So there's the dual las cannons. You've got all of these. So you've got the fingers. You've got different toes even. You've got the Gravis bolt cannons. I know they're not called heavy bolters, but you've got the Gravis bolt cannons and the multi-melter, and that is about it. So they're your weapon options: the Gravis bolt cannon, the multi-melter, the las cannon, or the auto cannons, and then you've got you know, the kind of extras that go on the back of those weapons. You've got the different ammunition feeds for whatever weapon you're using in there. I've got the I think plasma blaster. I don't think it's a plasma gun, I think it is a plasma blaster, but you can go for a combi bolter. You can even go for a graviton weapon, which is very, very basic. It looks very, very basic. And you've got the flamer. I think, oh, there's the graviton. There's the melter. Yeah, very basic melter. So you get a number of weapons and their ammunition sort of feeds for this bit as well. And I don't think you get any extra weapons in the fist, but you can get a chain fist in the full kit. And of course, this is a completely optional Havoc launcher. You don't have to use that. It's nowhere near on the same scale as the Phosphex discharger for the Leviathan. So yeah, we really need to make a comparison there. So they're all the spare parts, a decent number. So yeah, if you were to get 2 Age of Darkness box sets, then you could certainly make 2 Mortis pattern Contemptors, or you could have one with dual fists and one with dual las cannons, would be the preferred sort of builds. So size comparisons then. I would love to show you a comparison with, well, obviously the other Contemptor Dreadnought, the Relic Contemptor Dreadnought, which you can still get from Forge World. It baffles me now why they completely, you know, took all of the resin weapons off of the website. If anything, I would have thought that they would have sold more than the Leviathan separate weapons, which you can still pick up. You know, I picked up one for this one. You know, picked up a few of them, which is fine. So this is my Dark Angels Leviathan Dreadnought. Let's just give you a size comparison there. I've also obviously got the plastic one. They're the same size, so there's that. And then we've got the Castraferum Dreadnought. This one, the little boxy one. It's tiny, but it's my favourite. Just give you an idea of the sizes of these. I haven't got the old Contemptor Dreadnought, the old plastic one. It's around somewhere, but probably buried very deep in a box, because I absolutely hate it. Even though I magnetised it, it was just awful. You've also got here the Galatus, which is kind of like a Contemptor style dreadnought, but for the golden boys, with the Adrathic. I think they're destructors on there on the wrists. It's just a mean dreadnought. It's absolutely incredible. Love it to bits. Then we've got a Primaris Redemptor Dreadnought, which is bigger than a Leviathan, but if we just show you the sizes there, you can use these both together. You know, you can use Contemptor Dreadnoughts in 40k, and they're actually a little bit better, so the Leviathans in 40k than they are in Horus Heresy, which is, yeah, a bit odd. Then the final sort of Dreadnought comparison I'd like to make is with the Big Daddy himself. He's absolutely huge. Look at this big boy, the Telemon Dreadnought. Wow, he's huge. Absolutely love him. Love to get some more of these, but it's fantastic. So there you go. So that's the Telemon next to the Contemptor. Don't talk to me or my son ever again. And the final sort of comparisons I always like to make is just with some troop size miniatures. So we've got, I say troop sized, we've got the Lion. There's a Primarch for you. Then we've got a Mark 6. So these Mark 6s, they look great next to, you know, a Contemptor or vice versa. It really works. They stand quite tall. You could get away with games, you know, just with those. I've also got a Terminator, you know, the bane of Contemptors, I guess, or, you know, you really want to be tar pitting these down though if you can. I've got a Praetor in there, which is a fair bit bigger than a normal Mark 6. And then just with some 40k, and then just with some other vehicles, maybe, such as the Rhino, which, you know, you may get this in your force. You may want to get a Rhino, and that just gives you a comparison to show you how big Contemptor is, or how big a Rhino is really. And then you've got the bigger tanks, such as the Spartan as well. Spartan's pretty big in the grand scheme of things, compared to a Contemptor. So yeah, nice big tank there for you. And then the 40k miniatures, you've got Sly Marbo, normal Space Marine, and a Primaris. I wanted to show you an extra Primaris because obviously you can use these in the same army. They look alright next to Primaris actually, they don't look that small. However, if we put this little boy here, he's starting to look a bit small and wobbly as well. Need to get some super glue on that. Hope those size comparisons have helped. This is the part of my review where I will go through all of the rules for the Legion Contemptor Dreadnought. So you'll find him hidden away, I say. No, he's fully exposed in the elite section of your, I say Space Marine Codex, I want to call it, your Legiones Astartes army book. Only really has some competition from like the Rapier Battery, the Terminators, the Apothecaries, the Tech Marines, the Assault Squad, the Mortalis Destroyer Squad, and the Veteran Squad. So he is really a kind of unique unit in that unless you want to have Terminators, he's your go-to. I would always try and squeeze in a Contemptor, as painful as that is sometimes, into your force, because depending on the scenario and the mission, it gives you a lot of flexibility at a nice points cost as well. And that leads me on to its points cost, which is 175 points. And for those points, you're getting a movement 8-inch, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5. That already sounds amazing. It's something that's faster than troops, and it's hitting on 2+. Strength is 7, toughness 7, it's good. It's got 6 wounds, initiative 4, 3 attacks, leadership 9, and a save of 2+. So the save alone is very decent. It's also got it comes equipped with a Gravis bolt cannon, a Power Fist with built-in combi bolter, an Atomantic deflector, so you're getting your 5+ invulnerable, your special rules Legiones Astartes, and Dreadnought Talon. It can take a dedicated transport. You can have a Dreadnought drop pod if you wish. I don't see much of a point spending sort of 100 points or so on a Dreadnought drop pod for this fella, unless you really want to have drop pods falling from the sky and, you know, wreaking havoc in your enemy's back lines. But it's just a Contemptor Dreadnought with toughness 7. Yes, it's got 6 wounds, but, you know, troops and things, if you land it in the back of your enemy's deployment or wherever, it, you know, through weight of fire, it might get taken down. But it's something that your opponent has to deal with, especially if it's equipped with 2 fists or a chain fist or something, which leads me on to what options it has. So So you can have up to 2 additional Contemptor Dreadnoughts in one Talon, and they do cost the same. They're 175 points per model. Any Contemptor Dreadnought in the unit may replace its Gravis Bolt Cannon and or Gravis Power Fist and built-in Combi Bolter with one of the following. So you can have a Gravis Bolt Cannon, so you can basically have another one for free. Gravis Melter Cannon, very cheap points cost there of 5 points extra. An Auto Cannon, 10 points. Plasma Cannon, 10 points. Beam Cannon, 20 points, quite pricey now. Volkite Dual Culverin, 15 points. Kiri's Assault Cannon, 15 points. I really think that should only be like 10 though. Or Las Cannon, which is the priciest one, which is 20 points. You can have a Power Fist with built-in Combi Bolter for free, or a Chain Fist with built-in Combi Bolter for 10 points each. A Contemptor with 2 Gravis Power Fists, 2 Gravis Chain Fists, or Gravis Power Fist and Gravis Chain Fist gains an additional attack. So you've got 2 fists there, you've got 4 attacks, which isn't too bad. Just bearing in mind, of course, 1 Contemptor Dreadnought with 2 Gravis Las Cannons is going to set you off at 215 points, which is, yeah, quite pricey at that point. Any Contemptor Dreadnought may replace inbuilt Combi Bolter with either a Gravis Power Fist or Gravis Chain Fist with one of the following. So you get built-in Heavy Flamer for 5 points, Plasma Blaster for 10 points, Graviton Gun for 15, Melter Gun for 15. It may take one of the following: Havoc Launcher for 10 points, or a Helical Targeting Array for 10 points. Helical Targeting Array, if you didn't already know, it is worth it. It's really, really good. If your opponent has Deep Strike or Drop Pods or anything like that, you pretty much get a free reaction. So you can shoot them when they turn up, which is nice. It's worth doing. It's worth having that. So that's really, really good. That is the Legion Contemptor Dreadnought Talon rules. Super, you only reviewed the Leviathan yesterday and you went through loads of like comparisons with it. It was awesome. Will you do this today with the Contemptor? Of course I will. So the big difference really between this and a Leviathan is mainly the points cost and their role, as well as they're in different unit types. You know, Contemptor is elite, Leviathan is heavy support. In 40k they're both elite, don't ask me why, but in 40k scouts are elites. Again, let's not go there. I think that's right. I think Contemptor should be elites, and I think Leviathan should be heavy support. I mean, they certainly look pretty heavy to me. The points cost issue though, like with the Leviathan, for a walker, you're approaching kind of big tank, Kratos, Spartan kind of points cost with the Leviathan, depending on the weapon loadout you go for as well. And you're only getting something, that's sort of slower than a foot soldier with the Leviathan. Yes, it does have 1 extra strength, 1 extra toughness, and 1 extra wound. But if you have a ranged weapon and a claw, you're only getting 4 attacks instead of 5, but it's got the same save. That's what 40k and 30k sets it apart from. In 40k, Leviathan has a 2+ save, and the Contemptor has 3+. In this, both the Contemptor and the Leviathan both have a 2+ standard and a 5+ invulnerable, which makes a big difference. You know, I don't think many people would take this Contemptor if it had a 3+ save and maybe 5 wounds instead of 6. The weapon loadout as well. This is hugely more flexible. I'm trying to compare it to maybe a 40k Terminator squad and a 40k Tactical squad. Tactical squad, you can take special weapons, heavy weapons, whatever. Terminators, you're quite limited in those weapons that you can take. And it's similar to the Leviathan and the Contemptor. The Contemptor, you can have it as a mortis pattern. So you can have dual Kiri's assault cannons, you can have dual las cannons, or you can have dual fists, or you can go for a fist and a ranged weapon. And the ranged weapons really are ranged weapons. The Leviathan, the best it's going to get is the very short range 24-inch storm cannon. And 40k, that's a 36-inch weapon, so don't ask me why that's reduced in 12 inches in 10,000 years, but it has. Leviathans are geared up for siege. They're very close range. They want to be dropped in with a drop. They want to be deep striked into your opponent's line and start to cause damage and havoc deep in that line as well. Contemptors stand back and chill for a moment, browse the battlefield. You know, they're fast enough to support units or take over objectives where they need to. You know, they can get in and out of cover. You know, they can use that movement 8-inch to get behind cover. I know a Dreadnought taking cover is a bit odd, but when you're faced against 10 las cannons, I think even if you were Dreadnought, you would. You know, they haven't got a huge number of attacks, but their weapon skill and ballistic skill is fantastic, and I would use those strengths to the potential. So you want to be equipping this with dual las cannons to get those 4 las cannon shots at, you know, 2+, or you want to be charging into combat with 2 power fists to get your 4 attacks there. Or maybe you just want to have a little bit of both, a bit of support for your squads, so giving it 2 Kiri's assault cannons, or a melter gun and a chain fist, so it can go armor hunting, dreadnought hunting, tank hunting, whatever. What I'm saying is this is very flexible in its role, multi-role unit. The only downside obviously is, and it comes in a nice neat kind of decently pointed unit cost as well. You know, if you haven't got Terminators, this is what you're going to be using to support your troops capturing objectives, really, and taking out some of the bigger things, either from afar with the las cannons or up close with the fists. Unless it's a big army, I'd always pick a Contemptor or 2 to put in the army, because it's something that the enemy has to deal with. Obviously the only downside is, you know, they will be a target, and there are plenty of things with las cannons, such as like a you know, 300 point sort of Devastator squad with las cannons, or even a 300 point Spartan. Kratos I wouldn't worry too much about, because they are ballistic skill on a 3+ rather than a 2+, and the most scary thing they've got is their 4 las cannons, which aren't twin linked, and I wouldn't worry about their main guns unless you are within 36 inches with your Contemptor, and then you probably, yeah, you know what's going to happen really. But they can shrug off quite a bit of damage, and they've got those six wounds as well. I really like the model and the rules for the Contemptor. I'm not a massive fan of the kit to sort of build and put together compared to the resin, not as much as I am a big fan of the plastic Leviathan kit, but I am still looking forward to picking up more of these in plastic when they come out as a separate kit, despite them not being the most fun to put together. I think they are a staple, and it's one of the reasons why I've committed to picking up a lot of the Legion specific Contemptors. What do you guys think of the Legiones Astartes Contemptor Dreadnought? Well, the one from the Age of Darkness box set at least. Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.